We're moving north a little bit. We're going to Nevada, and Trifecta Gold is joining us now. Richard Drechsler. And Richard, it's great to have you back on. You're working on the huge property, and I got to ask you, how much was Donald Trump involved in naming the project? And you put some drill results out on Monday as well, so I'm looking forward to hearing more about that as well.
We hope this is going to be a huge project, right? And I mean, it was more of a marketing sort of thing at the time, get as many eyeballs as we can on the story. It's a good project here in northern Nevada. It's right located in Pearl Canyon. I'll just get my presentation up full screen here for you. And so, yeah, thanks for having me, Kai. New story to a lot of people, so I'll give everyone a little bit of background on the company before launching into some of the highlights from our huge in northern Nevada. So as most exploration stage companies, we're going to have some forward-looking statements here. So why would you invest in Trifecta Gold? So we're a discovery stage gold exploration company. We're drilling for discovery. We've got some very high probability targets within our portfolio. And we're a member of the Strategic Exploration Group. So it's a group of geologists and exploration companies that have been involved in the discovery and advancement of many of the most well-known deposits in Yukon. Currently, we're focused in Nevada, but we do have a few projects in Yukon. Our group's been responsible for the discovery of both of the highest grade gold deposits ever found in Yukon. And one of the things that's really important as an exploration stage company is we've been able to do that at very low discovery cost. And so currently very tight share structure, about half the company's held by insiders and major shareholders. A little bit on the company here, myself, President and CEO of Trifecta, work with Silver Range Resources and Strategic Metals as well. So they're the project generators we've acquired our projects from. We've got Graham Downs, who's the CEO of Attack on the board. Rob Carton was the former president of Attack, also a former partner of Archer Cathro, the geological consulting firm. Rosie Moore, who formerly CEO of Dolly Varden. Brad Schisler and Ryan Shedler run Condire Resource Investment Partners. They're one of our major shareholders. We've got Rochelle helping us out on the auditing front, and Fred Grayfield, former chief geologist of ASARCO. He's helps us out with the technical targeting and whatnot, and he's working with Ryan and Brad. And those guys show up here as one of our major shareholders, 20% shareholder. We've got about 9% with Silver Range, where we acquired the huge project, and Strategic Metals is a big shareholder here. 8.6%, that's where we acquired our Eureka project. We're actually a spin-out company from Strategic back in 2016. Other insiders, including myself and consultants, hold about 12% of the company. And that's all been purchased either out of the open market or through equity financing. So there's no seed stock issued with this company. Currently, sort of micro cap stock, about $6 million market cap. We've got about 1.4 in the till, and results coming out sort of as we speak. The focus of this talk is going to be on our huge project, which is located in northern Nevada. It covers 2 historical high-grade mines. We do have a number of other projects in portfolio, but due to time constraints today, we're just going to be focused down on the Nevada projects. But I will note they're all within a very productive belt of mineral deposits. Our Eureka project straddles the headwaters of 2 of the most productive placer drainages in the Klondike goldfields, very famous area worldwide for the amount of gold that's come out of there. And our Treble project is located right between the Plaza and Coffee. Similarly to both of those, we've got a Casino Suite Pluton mapped on the project. That's the driving mineralizer for both those deposits. And we have a large-scale geochem anomaly covering that as well. So on to the huge. That's where we've been working the last couple of years. It's a 100% owned project. Covers 2 high-grade historic mines. We're road accessible, about 150 kilometers outside of Winnemucca, so we can stage crews out of town. We've got power lines running right through the center of the project area, and we've had a lot of success with our early exploration work. So a little bit more on the history here. We've got a picture of Josie Pearl. This is what Pearl Canyon is named after. She had a homestead up there and actively worked some of the mines in the late 1800s. To early 1900s with a documented run of mine ore grading over an ounce per ton. So, very high grade target, but she only mined down about 100 meters here. 100 feet, about 30 meters. So what got us into the project was actually this cross section. And we dug this out of the Archer Cathro databases through Silver Range Resources. And what happened here was Homestake recognized this as a quite a prospective target again, like Eric was saying in one of his talks earlier today about projects that were chosen in the 80s and then abandoned, and that Yuge fits that bill. So Homestake came in and they drilled a couple holes underneath one of the workings here, the Columbia zone. We got some very high grade intersects, 3 meters of 9 grams, and then further down hole, another couple of meters of 5 grams with a much higher intersect in the middle of over half an ounce. So there's 17 gram intersect. And so when you start to get an idea of how large the shear zone was, those kind of grades, you can start to hand wave some pretty good ounces on there. And that's what the Homestake did on their target report. And unfortunately for them, it was a protracted downturn in the 80s, and we were able to come in and stake the project in Silver Range. We got it into Trifecta before doing a lot of the early surface work. And this map here shows you more the overview of a number of the zones. You've got the Columbia down here, the Juanita. Those are the 2 areas of historic mining. There's a couple of small adits that we've discovered sort of as we were upgrading roads up at our Josie zone here. We've got high grade discovered at surface throughout the project area. So we were thinking that we've got a much larger mineralizing system than the old timers were focused on. And what we got to keep in mind here is when they were mining back in the 1800s, you'd find a mineralized outcrop and you just start going underground on it. There's no modern technology to be drilling and seeing how many parallel veins there are. And really that's what got us encouraged on our first pass of drilling, which was early last year. Here's a central hole from our Columbia zone. We drilled a broad section mineralization, 38 meters. We had a number of veins poking up here, about 2.2 grams over that 38 meter section. So here we have a broad mineralized halo. You can see there's some higher grade results in the core with a peak of 15 grams. So we stepped to the north of there, about 1.1 kilometers along strike within the same major or main shear structure that runs up Pearl Canyon. Drilled a couple holes around the Juanita target, got another broad intersect, 30 meters of a gram. Another high grade core there, 3.4 grams over 6 meters. But as we were working around the Juanita target, we found, again, high grade mineralization at surface along strike, as well as up towards our Josie target, which this target here is directly uphill from our Juanita. Made a number of discoveries as we were improving the road there. Some 12 gram per ton shear zones in the road route coming up to the Josie. Up at Josie, we see that there's not only a sheeted vein system, but the diorite units are a lot more pervasive here. We see the gold associated with diorite at Columbia as well. And really that's one of the features of the system that's giving us larger mineralizing targets here. So we've got surface samples grading over 10 grams per ton over a 550 meter strike length. We've got a number of parallel veins that we've identified in trenches, some of them showing up in the initial drill holes. And so our follow-up work that we did this past year at the Columbia and Juanita, we outlined here on these 2 drill plans. Here's the Columbia. We've got about a 300 meter strike on this zone here. Juanita, a couple 100 meter strike. We focused in our drilling this spring in around hole 2, trying to get a bit better handle on the strike and dip of the mineralization, because we got some really high grades within those broad intervals. We've got assays pending for most of these. We're just starting to get them actually come in the door. And so we're working on putting together our nice sections and models on this as the bulk of the assays are still feeding in. But the first assay cert we got in had a couple over limits on it, and we were able to get that out early this week, and happy to share that with everyone here. And that hit again, a couple good hits within a 30 meter interval. So when we step over to the plan view, you can see that hole 11 is our furthest along strike in our new drilling from our hole 2. Again, multiple structures, high grade, 13 grams over 3 meters in the top intersection, and about 12 grams over 3 meters in the bottom intersection. So multiple structures. That's the benefit of drilling versus just going underground and drifting along veins. You could be exploring along a vein historically, and you have no idea you've got another high grade vein about 10 meters into your hang wall or footwall without running that drill hole through there. So if we're able to continue to come up with these multiple intersects, broad halo of mineralization, you can start to build some serious ounces under a target like this with these kind of grades. Here you can see the main road, just off the side of where our drill sites are. So excellent infrastructure. Stepping out a little bit to give you a bit more of an overview here, and again, I'll touch on the bulk tonnage character of some of the zones. Our Josie target, all these rocks that are in purple are greater than 10 grams per ton. So incredibly high grades that we're finding at surface and also in drill holes. The trench we did late last year, trench I, we call it here, was also in that granodiorite unit I mentioned earlier. It was where we exposed it at surface here was very punky. Came back with 17 meters of 2.3 grams. And so what's significant here is that if we have a number of these sheeted veins cutting through a receptive granodiorite unit that's actually going to be hosting more of this mineralization, that could lend to much larger resource with much less meters drilled. And that's really when we're looking at discovery costs, that's something that's key is what are your gram meter multiples per drill hole. And if we start to see either multiple structures that are high grade like we see at Columbia, or these really broad intersections like we see at Juanita, or in some of the trenching results that we've seen, that's the kind of thing that we feel we can build ounces quickly with. And our team has got a track record of doing that in at other deposits, and we're basically looking to repeat that with Trifecta Gold. And that's why insiders and affiliate companies have such large share interests at this point. And so that's quick summary of where we're at with the Yuge. We do have obviously some other high probability targets in portfolio, but those are for time, those will be in the background. But if anybody wants to give me a shout to talk about those, I'm happy to. Follow-up work at the Yuge, the next steps, obviously further drilling is going to be warranted at Columbia once the bulk of the remaining assays come out from there. We've got a number of targets, as you've seen from the previous map, where we're finding high grade at surface. We're able to trace it along strike, and so some further surface work on those to prep additional drill sites to show that this is, again, not just these two historic mines, that we have a much larger mineralizing system. And very encouraging to see the broader zones within more permissive host units, and good drill results out so far with the limited drilling we've done, and more results to come. So that's the summary there for Trifecta. Again, thank you very much for having me here. If you've got any questions, feel free to shoot away.
Great summary, Richard. Sorry, allergies are killing me this season. No, great summary, especially on the drill results. How many more holes are pending right now, Richard? And when do you expect them to come out?
So we've got 6 more holes pending. We've got most of the assays back there. All the samples were delivered in one bulk shipment, so we're kind of getting them back in random order. Luckily, we had a couple that came in together, so we get at least one hole out in advance of this. But yeah, over the next couple of weeks, we'll be definitely being able to get out all the sections and models, and the bulk of the assays are now flowing in. We're just going through QA/QC, waiting on just a couple more share certs for everything. So yeah, over the next later this week, early next week, start to get the results out, and then we'll be moving on planning for the next phases out at Yuge, and money in the bank to advance this, and yeah, tight share structure, ready to rock.
Fantastic. No, Richard, I always look forward to seeing results coming out of Nevada. I personally love the jurisdiction. I know others have other opinions here in the office as well, but I'm a big fan of Nevada. So good luck. Can't wait to see more results, because the first batch has been quite impressive, and let's see what the future brings, and let's catch up again soon, Richard.